I've been driving the RZ all week, or the RZ in the States, and it drives phenomenal. The interior, yeah, luxury, super comfortable, and everything about it screams Lexus vehicle. And if this was an internal combustion vehicle, yeah, that's it. That's the end of the review. It's good to go. Buy it. But it's not. It's an electric vehicle. So you have other concerns, right? Range. How fast does it charge? How does it compare to the new EV premium luxury competition? And another thing is Lexus, it's a stable name in the internal combustion engine world. Lexus, Toyota, durable, you know what you're buying when you're buying one. But they have not been in the EV world long enough for me to be able to say that with total confidence. So we're gonna have to rely on exactly what they gave us here today. And that's what this review is about. Strap in and let's go. Hi everybody, and welcome to Outside of Reviews. My name is Pat, and this channel, there is no filtering me. I say whatever I want, however I want. I don't consider myself too much an enthusiast. I care about what's logic, what makes sense, how is it practical, how does it handle, and I couldn't care less about brand names. If you like the sound of that, press that like, subscribe. And speaking of new vehicles, the Lexus RZ came as a 300e, 450e, and now it comes as the 550e for 2026. Now the vehicle I have today, and the vehicle I've driven all week, has been the 450e. So dual motors, all-wheel drive. Let's get right into the specs. 308 horsepower, 320 pounds-feet of torque, 354 kilometers of range, 220 miles. 0 to 60 time is 5 seconds. DC fast charging, 150 kilowatt for the very smallish battery, 71 kilowatt size battery. Price in US, it goes from the $44,000 to $60,000. In Canada, $82,000 is the tested model that we have today, but it starts at $63,000 and it goes well up to $82,000, the model we have today. First and foremost, exterior aesthetics count, and a lot of people are not a fan of the black hood. I, on the other hand, am a complete fan of the overall look, including the black hood. I think it makes it look a little bit sportier, and they definitely did a great job with making it look kind of like spaceship looking. It definitely could tell it still has that Lexus kind of front grille. You would see a mean front grille, but obviously there's no grille because it's an EV. There's also no front trunk, in case you're wondering. But the overall exterior aesthetics of the vehicle, it is mint, it is good to go, but that is very opinion based. I like it. And as we move on to the sides, we have the 20-inch wheels with this amazing and shiny spokes design. Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit harder to clean, but once it's cleaned, boy, does it look apart. It looks amazing, especially when you're driving down a road too. As they rotate, looks very, very, very shiny. Now to the charging port. Here it is. I just push it. It does feel a little bit on the light side, a little bit on the flimsy side, but I wouldn't want it to be motorized or, you know, mechanical opening. I like that it's just a push. You don't need to complicate that. It just feels a little bit light. Now mine, because it's the 450e, you got CCS. And if you get the 550e 2026, you have NAC, so North American Charge Standard. Yeah, that's the one that goes with the Tesla supercharger network, so a different kind of port. However, the charging speed does not get better for 2026, so same as the 300e, the 450e, which is 150 kilowatt speed. Now, I would give you a timing. It was like, oh, charge from 10 to 80% in the 38 minutes. It's really relative to what your charger can put out. So if you're charging on a 50 kilowatt hour charger, it's not going to be 38 minutes. We've got power adjustable, power folding mirrors, approach and departure, lock and unlock. So if you want it to lock, you just press here. unlock, you stick your hand in, and it's good to go. Solid thunk, as expected from a Lexus product. Now, as we go to the rear, you can see the cargo space. Actually, I'm going to show you what the key fob looks like. So you can open it from the key fob. And as I open it, double tap the key fob, 34.9 cubic feet of space in the trunk with the seats up. You also have a little compartment underneath the floor. Actually, it's not that little. It's pretty deep. You can definitely store some windshield wiper fluid containers in there. As I put these seats down, that's going to free up 55.6 cubic feet of space. Now, as I go inside the vehicle, here I am going inside the back seat. Look at this nice blue interior. It is in the doors, it is on the seats. Everything is super soft and premium. I have in the back 37.5 inches of leg room. You know what? That's not too bad. Not too shabby. I don't mind it at all. I do have my own ventilation. I have heated outboard seats as well as connectivity, and I have a two-prong outlet. Usually it's a three-prong outlet, but you do have a two-prong outlet in this one. And yes, the seats do recline a tiny little bit. It's barely noticeable, but there is a reclining factor back here. Now we step inside the front seat, and voila, you got some nice, very soft fabric on the sides. It's like suede or something. And to operate the door, it's a push of a button. Not my favorite. I think we're just trying to be a little bit too much like Tesla, if you ask me. You just push, and it doesn't electronically open the door. It just, detach the lever, and then you push it manually. The seats, again, micro suede. Nice. This is very, very comfortable. On my side, I do have there's a 10-way adjustability, so I do have lumbar support and such. On the passenger side, you got pretty much the same except for lumbar. So you get power adjustments, recline, height, forward and back, just not lumbar on the passenger side. So I'm going to go and have a seat now. And right away, as I look, steering wheel, gauge, heads up display is where my issues kind of start. Is where I start having issues with the RZ. These buttons here are not labeled, and this is not new to me because I've seen that with the vehicle I had last week, the Ford Expedition. Actually doesn't have any labels here either, and it shows up on the gauge. This case, it doesn't show up on the gauge here. It shows up on the heads-up display. I like that a little bit less. You would think that you don't have to look down as much to see. It doesn't really matter one way or the other. Eventually you have muscle memory. You remember which button does what. As I look at the driver information cluster, the issue I have there is it's dated. It's just dated. One, it doesn't take up the full information cluster, just a tiny little square or rectangle, if I'm being precise, and it kind of looks granular to me. The definition is not there. So for Lexus to have that as a driver information cluster, I'm not a big fan of it. Paddle shifters here, these are not for gears for the 450e, how they are for regen, right? Regen braking, which resets every time you turn the vehicle on and off. But for the 550e performance, this becomes one of those things that they've added. It's virtual gear shifting. And I just rolled my eyes when I read that for the first time. I'm like, it's an EV. The whole point of it is it doesn't have gears. And yeah, you would say a CVT doesn't, and they do play along with that as well. But for an EV, it's just seamless. Boom. Like, seamless acceleration. What do you need gears for? Or what do you need to pretend that you have gears for? Comment that below. I would love to hear it. But anyways, the 550 will have that. And then you got the infotainment system here. Above, you have the power button. So it's not one of those sit and play kind of vehicle. You have to press the power button. And right here, HVAC is part of the screen, so it's integrated, but I do have a knob for the temperature. And you know what? Everything is responsive in that sense. I have no issues with that. I do wish they would make the infotainment system a little bit, when you go back into the built-in, because I was in Android Auto, because wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, of course. Then you come here and it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of boring. And if you know, you go to the vehicle, kind of like not a whole lot of information there. You have to really go into setting to get those. It just, I think they can do better with this, a better layout, kind of like a smartphone layout with some icons. I would appreciate that. It just make it look a little bit better. I do have a volume control here and a button for on and off volume. And then you got your parking assist, your camera views, 3 USB-Cs, and a wireless charger. I love this fabric. So this is where everything about the interior, almost everything, is really premium. Everything is kind of premium, except I am not a fan. Now, granted, I do not have this vehicle in the winter. It is fall, but it has that radiate heater here and underneath me as well. I'm not a fan of that radiant heater, but if you do own it and you do drive it in the winter, whether it's a BZ or an RZ, and just comment below, let me know how it is. And let me know how it is at defrosting my windows, because compared to the other EVs I've had in the winter, including my own personal one, the Chevy Equinox EV, this rear defroster took a very long time, in my opinion. And most electric vehicles take almost no time at all to warm up and defrost. So that is my one, climate-based observation I've had here in the fall. Winter people, comment below please, because your ownership experience is worth 10 times that of a guy who reviews it for a week. I do have a nice it's panoramic sunroof, but it does have a bar in between. And you would say there's no shade, but they have this opaque button here. So if we keep an eye on the panoramic roof here, my lovely camera lady, I'm just gonna press the button now. So it goes a little bit milky, but it goes pretty clear. And then I'm gonna press it again, and so that is cool. That is a cool function. So you have this mix here of very, it's premium, cool futuristic function here. Retro digital style gauge. What gives? Okay, now that we've unplugged our charger and we're about to reverse out, I got my route to go return the vehicle. I'm at 92% battery charge, 260 kilometers predicted range from the vehicle. And these are fairly correct. I find that there's not a big error factor in what you can expect compared to what the vehicle tells you you're gonna have and what you have in real life. Right now I'm gonna put it in reverse, and this is one of the negative parts of driving a vehicle. So I'm gonna reverse out. Some of these beepings are from sensors. Okay, this is just a beeping that comes up just by reversing. Now, when you are reversing, I do have a nice overhead camera, nice camera quality over here, and you can see as the vehicle is moving, it shows you what is underneath, so what you're driving over at the same time. So if you hit something, you'll get to see it on your camera, what you hit, a cone, a person, whatever have you. But the beeping is kind of an annoyance. And right there we're gonna go. Let's see what drive mode we are. So I just touched that button. We're in eco mode. Let's go to normal. No, let's go to sport mode right here. And we're gonna make a left turn, and already it just feels so smooth right off the bat. Yeah, I definitely appreciate this. Make a right here. Steering feels very light, however it's in a good way. I think that that's typical to a Lexus vehicle, not giving you too much input back. Let's accelerate a little bit. Oh. So it does temper your little accelerations a little bit, just a little bit, not too much, because it doesn't give you that neck snapping. Well, it does, yeah.
Sorry, I'm having trouble understanding you.
So that was her, the vehicle. She's having trouble understanding me, so we'll try to be clearer. So there are some voice activated features, such as that you just say the name of the vehicle maker. I don't want to say it right now, I don't want her to come up. But and then you can tell her to like take me to the charging menu, or take me to you know, navigation wise as well. I prefer Google built in, but that's just a personal preference at this point. This is going to be a tad difficult here because of rush hour. Okay, let's go. Whoa! So much power. Oh, God! Just goes. Oh, yeah. Driving the RZ is a lot of fun and it's very smooth. So now I'm basically at highway speeds, no issues there. The advanced cruise control does do an amazing job too at keeping you in between lanes. I've driven it quite a bit on the highway, and it's very responsive, very quiet. And this is Montreal, by the way, not known for having the best road condition, and it is absorbing all these potholes like this. Oh, I don't even feel those. Seat comfort is good. Visibility is really good. I can really see all around me. Let's go for some braking here. Yeah, pretty smooth. I gotta set the regen here to a little bit higher. Now it won't come to a full stop, but that's okay. For not everybody likes one pedal drive. My wife, for example, the EV that she drives right now has one pedal drive to come to a full stop, and she has it completely turned off. She wants it to drive like a regular vehicle, and the Lexus RZ will definitely be a seamless adoption for people that are coming over from the internal combustion engine side and really don't want to go full EV, just want to have an EV that drives like a normal car. This does that and then some. It drives really well. I was very surprised by the handling and the ride comfort. So where does the Lexus RZ or RZ stand? Well, on the road, when you're driving it, it's a Lexus, full stop. Handles great, cabin is serene, lots of premium materials everywhere. It's beautiful. Yeah, digital gauge cluster could be a little bit nicer, but it's beautiful and it's a Lexus. But this is an EV, and by being an EV, Toyota and Lexus are showing that they're still rookies in this game. They are. You're looking at the range figures, you look at the charging speed, and then you look at competitors. I'm talking about Genesis GV70 electrified EV. Also very nice interior, and it offers great range, super fast charging speed in comparison. You look even at the Tesla Model Y, although I'm not quite sure that is a luxury vehicle anymore. You look at Audi Q5. Where does this stack in the face of its competitors? Well, the interior, I would argue that it's one of the better one. The material, the soft doors, everything is there, and you know, the functionality of it all, it's all good for Lexus. Look at all those other figures, then, you know, it's less range, less charging speed, but also less money. I was looking at the pricing. The Lexus RZ is still cheaper than those competitors, which make it, so how do you decide? Is it a good deal? Does it make it a good deal? Does it make it a not good deal? Well, let me tell you why, first of all, Lexus and Toyota have adopted this way, and then I'll tell you why maybe I quite disagree with it. So the whole charging speed and the fact that the charging curve, if you're looking at 150 kilowatts, you know, it's not that slow. I mean, Chevy Equinox has that speed. I mean, I think a lot of other EVs have that speed. Granted, they do, but the charging curve is so drastically drops when you reach something like 30%. It starts dropping. When I charged it, as soon as I hit like 35%, I was going from 100 plus kilowatts to all of a sudden 50 kilowatts. That is a massive drop, and it's way too early. Now, the reasoning is battery preservation. Lexus has made its name of being a reliable, longevity kind of name brand, and that kind of falls up with their total value, resale value. When you're looking at selling a vehicle, if you're looking at buying a used Lexus, they're always more expensive than the other. They retain their value really great. But I would argue, this being an EV, it's a totally different game. One, in 10 years from now, we're probably going to have those fancy sodium batteries that have almost zero degradation. Or even look at the LFP batteries that are currently on the market now that have almost no battery degradation. You're doing too much. You're planning too far ahead, in my opinion, because most EV shoppers are just going to look at the charging figures, range figures, and everything else is just extra. But these are just my thoughts. Now, it's still a Lexus when you're driving it. It still looks amazing. I absolutely adore this look. I'm just not sure that their EV approach is the way to go. But I'm just one guy. You guys also have a voice. You get to comment below. Tell me, what do you think? Do you think this longevity thing is going to speak to? Because I'm not sure the value is going to be retained because it's a Lexus EV as much as the Lexus hybrids, the Lexus internal combustion cars are being retained. These are just my thought. They're outside the box maybe, but this is Outsider Reviews. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.